positive for COVID.
Ooh, I'm sorry
Yeah.
to hear that. Wow.
um, thank God it's a lot better now. I'm kind of at the end of it, but we're still waiting a few more days to get tested and see if we're positive or negative, if we're contagious or not, so we can kind of resume with everyday life.
How are you
But
doing though? Are you feeling okay or are you
yeah, I'm
asymptomatic?
feeling so much better. Yesterday was kind of my last difficult day, I think. It's been up and down. Thankfully, nobody has had serious symptoms. Out of my family, I'm the one that got hit the hardest, but the hardest was just a lot of body aches and fever, some nausea, whatever.
Oh
Just
wow. I'm
those
sorry
fun,
to hear it.
those
I'm
fun
sorry. I'm
symptoms.
so sorry to hear it, but I'm glad that it sounds like you're largely past it now.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it. It was a rough week and a half, but thankfully things are better. Um, but this meeting kind of landed at a really good point because I was sick and I felt really sick and I didn't want to touch anything LSAT. In January, LSAT is 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
So um that that took away. I mean, before I got tested I was feeling sick as well, so I didn't really want to study and I wasn't able to study as much as I would have wanted to. So that's about 2 weeks of rigorous studying that I was just physically wasn't able to do. I do a logic game every here and there to try to keep my brain awake and not feel completely disconnected, but I just knew that I needed to take the time to recover. Because if I was just stressed and studying all the time, I just wasn't going to recover and be a longer recovery process. So, um, this is something that I I faced and pretty close to test day. I'm thankful that it wasn't any closer to test time because I possibly could still be sick if it happened later.
Yeah.
But it happened around Christmas time, so I've had time to recover. I'm taking a winter semester and classes start again today after like a few days breaks, and I feel okay to do that. So I feel okay if I'm okay to tackle my classes. I feel okay to go back into studying, but now the strategy is it has to be pretty different because it's crunch time. Um, it would have been crunch time if I had tested positive or not. Um, but now it's even more so. So I kind of wanted to have this conversation with you. I'm not sure if any other students have tested positive, hopefully not, that may be going through this, but potentially somebody else that, um, hopefully not, God forbid, but if somebody else does test positive either for January or for any other LSAT, just what it is. It's a weird circumstance, but what are the things that you might recommend for a student in this kind of situation?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're certainly not the only one for either January or February or in general over the past year or so. COVID has affected so many people to varying degrees in one way or another. And so every situation is going to be unique. Thankfully, you're okay now. You're largely past it.
Yeah, we got through.
Yeah, you got through it. I mean, it took you away for a while. Now you're back. Exams in 2 weeks. So take a moment to just check in, evaluate where you stand, evaluate how you're feeling. And if you're feeling comfortable still, moving ahead to take the January LSAT specifically versus possibly acknowledging that it may have taken some time away from the LSAT and you may want to push it back a little bit. So that's the first thing I'd be looking at.
um I'm glad you mentioned this because this was another question that I had. And I sat down yesterday that I was feeling okay, and I really tried to hone down and narrow the list of the law schools that I think I could see myself attending. So instead of just general thoughts of law schools, trying to narrow down specifically, like for me, I'm drawn to the New York or staying here in New Jersey, just that area. Uh, some law schools that are just like maybe dream schools are outside of that, but the ones that I really see myself attending and reasonably getting into and being able to afford are within this area. So I sat down, I narrowed those schools down so that I could um hopefully call them in the next few days and talk with them about my situation, not really saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry, I'm sick," and victimizing, but would it be reasonable if would I have a reasonable chance of getting accepted and getting scholarship um, if I apply first week of February versus I'm not really sure when February LSAT comes back. First week of March, I suppose. Some of those deadlines are March 1st.
Yeah.
So uh can I submit the rest of my application and then uh, when the LSAT when the LSAC sends my LSAT score, is that okay? But I'm hoping to have these conversations with law schools. I would still like to maybe I should take a PT and see how I'm scoring after all this time. Um, I would still like to take January because this semester is starting and it's an extremely busy semester for me. I'm doing my thesis and my credits are full. So there's just a lot that's going to be going on. And this LSAT is the last one before the semester starts to take course. So I would consider it. Being very honest with myself, I'm not sure how much improvement um, I'll see in the amount of time that I think that I'll have to study realistically between January and February. Um, Again, if you have any thoughts on that, I'd be willing to push it back. But I still um, am planning on attending in fall of 2021. So this upcoming cycle for law school. So
Yeah, I do have some thoughts, and it's a perfectly fair question. Another 5 or so weeks between the January and February LSATs could make a big difference,
mhm,
even just putting in 5, 10 hours a week over that period. If you can manage it, you may
mhm,
see a boost.
mhm,
It's worth considering if you can budget out that time in your schedule, understanding that this semester will, of course, restart. You'll have more work going on for it.
right.
And then you'll want to look into specific law schools. What are their deadlines? A lot of
Mhm,
schools will take February LSAT results, even if their published deadline is March 1st. They're a
mhm,
little bit more fluid with these sorts of things than you might think. And so it's worth asking. You could
mhm,
theoretically submit your entire application before that time, and then they'll just wait on that score.
mhm.
Depends on the situation. Every school is different. You just got to ask.
Right. Okay. So I'll definitely do that since I have my list. I'll start going through them, calling them, um, so that they have me on record as somebody interested, but also to figure that out. Because I do think that's pretty important. Um, I My brain just went blank. I'm a little nervous in terms of um, scholarship money since that is such a big factor of where I'll end up attending. But I need to keep reminding myself that it's better to put it off a little bit and get a higher score than have just a mediocre score. And
And you're not putting it off, by the way. You're allowing more time to reach your fullest potential in general. And then, especially COVID knocking you back a little bit, it's totally understandable. COVID
Mhm.
knocked it back. You didn't knock
Oh, darn it.
it.
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely something that I need to let marinate a little in my mind and figure out um what it is that I can do. I had another question and I forgot. Yes, this is something that I'm working through. My brain has been off for the past 2 weeks, so now I'm trying to bring it back
Of course. Yeah,
really
well, if
quickly.
it comes to you later, of course, just reach out, let me know. We can also discuss it in class tonight.
Okay, definitely. Oh, that's another one of my issues. I've been watching the classes and things once you post them on the website because in order to graduate in May, I need to take this class that I'm taking. It's gonna be going on for this week and the next week, but it's from 6 to 8:40, and sometimes the professor finishes before, but it's every single day. So that's something else that was that was on my mind that was putting me off a little bit before COVID. I I'm not able to attend um, live classes where I feel like maybe I can interact a little bit more. It's easier for me to stay focused because I'm here, I'm paying attention, I'm listening, rather than when it's a recording. I can attend the one at 9, which I think is tonight. Yes.
Yeah, the group coaching mastermind.
Yes. So I can attend that, but then the other classes of actual the actual sections of the LSAT, which I need to improve on. I'm struggling with LR. I haven't done a reading comp section in a while just because my brain wasn't up for it when I was sick. And these are things that are worrying me. Uh, oh, I finally remembered. Yes, and so
Oh,
this has to do again with my official, like when I'm actually taking the test. These are things that I'm worried about because I don't feel like I've practiced or I've really um focused as much as I could on them, and I'm a little bit scared. We talked about this other time I was in hot seat coaching, but I'm a little bit worried that what happened previously, that I was scoring almost in the 160s um, when I was practicing, and then when I got my LSAT, I scored what I scored it without ever looking at it before, months before. I'm scared that's going to happen again because I feel unprepared, even more so now than before because I've been sick, I've been out of it. So I don't know, definitely didn't feel like test day jitters because I was completely calm. I felt confident going into it. Maybe it's good that I feel a little bit nervous now, because I'm looking at the test as a worthy opponent, something that is going to be a challenge.
yeah.
But I'm a little scared in this sense, with scared that I'm going to get a low score, as if I had never studied again, and um, that's the end result, but scared in the process because I just haven't looked at it and I haven't been able to be participating actively in the classes due to this other college class that I'm taking.
Yeah. I understand exactly what you're saying, Sarah. I mean, this is something where you've got to meet yourself where you're at, given what's been going on. So, given that you kind of feel like you've been out of the game a little bit and you need some time to get back into it, I would strongly urge you to go for February rather than January because you've only got 2 weeks left. You've invested yourself a lot in this process, but recently you've had to push it back a little bit or COVID's pushed it back. So I would say give yourself some understanding of where you're at and give yourself a little bit more time. Don't turn the pressure up so much on yourself, especially with semester starting off, cutting into the class time that we have. And if you have to join midway through, that's fine. I don't mind if you join at 8:40 or if the professor ends early, 8:30. You'll get what you get out of it. You can always catch the recording later for whatever you might have missed. And there are plenty of events happening at 9 p.m. as well. Tonight's group coaching mastermind would be a great place for us to continue discussing your personal situation. I'm sure many others will be able to relate to it, whether COVID's the reason or not. Many folks do have external factors that require them to put aside studying for just a little while. And so I think it would be really helpful for everyone, along with yourself, to discuss this a bit. Is that something you'd be comfortable with?
Sure, yes. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I'll be there. I'll be there
Great.
tonight, and hopefully if the professor ends earlier for that. class before.
For sure. And then there's the Tuesday night study groups, as always, at 9. You can always join those. The Wednesday sessions, there are sometimes 2 of them, one at 8, one at 9. So you can also join midway through the 8 p.m. class. And then if there's a 9 p.m. class on top of that, you can always join that too. And then always catch the recordings. And then I know you've been active in the study groups aside from the Tuesday at 9. So always attend those. And I'm sure the students who attend will be able to fill you in on whatever you might be missing.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for your tips. Thank you for your tips. My tongue got tied. We're getting back into it. We're getting back into it.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.